Getting up close and intimate. Totally not taboo with Tracy. Celebrating sexual positivity both in and outside the bedroom.
Hello, learner lovers, and welcome back to another episode of Totally Not Taboo with Tracy. This is where we get to talk about everything about sex and sexuality that is taboo. So today I have with me on Zoom a very special guest. Her name is Makgosi Letimile, and Makgosi is the owner of a store or a website called Wheels and Toys. And Makgosi herself is a paraplegic, and she has a beautiful pink wheelchair, which I would like her to show you.
Hey. I'll send you pictures of the chair.
Thank you. And today we're going to be talking about intimacy and disability. We're also going to be having a look at Makhosi's range of sex toys, which she uses for medical reasons, as she will explain shortly, and also as toys to assist people with disabilities in their intimacy, around intimacy and sexuality, and exactly what we're here to talk about. So, Makgosi, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Finally.
Yeah, no, we've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yes.
So, without any further ado, please would you introduce yourself to our audience and just give us a little bit of a background of where you come from and how you get to be where you are. And we'll go from there. Over to you.
So thank you so much for having me, Tracy. My name is Makgosi Letimile. I'm a 37-year-old mom. I'm a disabled sex toy reviewer. I'm a writer. And I'm a sex worker. That's what I call myself as well. I'm a woman of many talents. And I got here because of disability. So in 2016, I got TB meningitis and it damaged my spine. I didn't know that you could get TB that actually damages your spine. I've since learned that anyway, where you have a living cell on your body, you can contract TB on that specific, part. So mine was spine. I've been living as a disabled woman now. This is my 6th year. And it's been a very long journey. A lot of it's including a lot of embarrassing moments like incontinence. And that's how Wheels and Toys was born, because I was 32 when I got disabled. And when I was discharged from rehab, I was told, okay, so you're going to live with your incontinence. This is how you manage it. Every 3 hours you go and you clear your bladder because you can't feed anything. So I couldn't feed anything. And so you schedule, the times that I go to the bathroom. If I miss the 3 hours, I would have an accident. If I oversleep, I have an accident. I can't feed anything. This was 6 years ago. And I lived with that condition for 3 years. As you can imagine, my life had no stability because I can't go anywhere, because every 3 hours I need to be clearing my bladder. Sometimes you're out, disabled toilets are non-existent, or they're locked, or something is just happening there. And it interrupted my life greatly. But I think what was the most embarrassing thing for me that forced me to say, you know what, I have to find help for myself, was when I was visiting a friend, and we were sitting outside in the morning having coffee, and from across the street, so my friend is looking at me, and from across the fence, there's a woman that's signaling to my friend to look at my feet. Then my friend looks, and I'm releasing, I'm peeing on myself. I can't feel anything. I'm busy concentrating on the coffee. And I could see how uncomfortable she looked and how sad she looked for me. And I was like, okay, this has to stop, And I decided I'm gonna seek help. I asked around because I was online a lot. I live online. I asked around, so I'm incontinent and I want this to stop. What should I do? People recommended you can take these pills. You should try Botox. Um, Everything was recommended, and none of the options were either affordable or something that worked. I mean, I went to the pharmacy and explained to them that I've got an incontinence problem. Is there something like they can give me? I was walking around with a bag full of all these pills, and none of them were helping, but I was looking for something. And one day I thought, there has to be a way for my nerves to get sensitized again, because if I can feel what's happening, then I'll be able to know when to go to the bathroom. And I thought maybe if I get like electric shock or something, it might sensitize the nerves again. Because I'm thinking of electrocution, like when you get electrocuted a lot, you get that sensation. I thought maybe that would work. And I sent a message to a friend and said, so this is what I was thinking. And she said to me, you know what? I know somebody who lives in Cape Town, and I think you guys should meet up and talk about what's happening. So I got in contact with this woman, and she said to me, I'm coming to visit you. She showed up at my house with a bag full of vibrators. These are second-hand toys. She said to me, no, I'm a toy seller. This is some of the stock that we use for demos. Some of them have been used by us, but they're sanitized, they're clean. You can clean them yourself as well. Try these and let me know how it goes. And so it began. I used the toys for 6 weeks. And I remember the first time I slept through the night without waking up with a wet spot and without waking up during the night. And I messaged a late friend of mine, Dr. Sinya, said to her, I slept through the night and I had no accidents.
Wow.
And I think it's because I've been using vibrators for 6 weeks. And she's like, yes, of course, I think it is. And then I was like, oh, okay, so let's see how far this experience will go. So I started using the vibrators in 2019, and I started capturing the experience online in 2019. And then last year, December, I was on my way to a seminar in Pretoria, and I got my period on the plane, something that I hadn't gotten in my years as a disabled person. I got period diarrhea.
Sure.
First time since my disability, I got period diarrhea. I'm getting period diarrhea. I'm on the plane. So I'm celebrating. Yay, period diarrhea. No, period diarrhea. Luckily, I spoke to the hostess and I said to her, okay, so this is what's happening. As you can see, I can't walk, but if you get me to the bathroom, I think I'll be able to relieve myself just in time. I swore in my knife. Just as I had taken off my underwear and sat down, everything came out and like, oh my Lord. Had I spent another second in my chair, I would have had a very bad accident on the air, and people would have remembered me as that lady that had an accident, that disabled lady. And I can only imagine what the perception about disabled people would have been then, So it was a very exciting and a very scary experience. And it's all due to vibrators. I have no doubt about that, because I can feel sensitivity and sensation that I never thought would be possible again 5 years ago. When I need to go to the bathroom, I can tell now that, okay, so I have about 30 minutes. I can time my bladder properly, so I know when to push myself so that, oh, okay, so I can stay 30 minutes over. I drink coffee now. I never used to drink coffee. I drink coffee and I enjoy it so much. And I had to stop drinking coffee because I couldn't trust my bladder. So the whole experience is captured on Wheels and Toys online. And
Wow.
then, so I decided I'm just going to review sex toys for people like me, people with limited mobility, and to see what I can do to help other people with disabilities. Because my dream is to eventually own my own manufacturing plant. I don't even want a line. I want to manufacture toys specifically for disabled people, but able-bodied people will be accommodated as well. But I want disabled people to also have affordable toys, because had I not been given the toys, I wouldn't have them. And when I counted what they were worth, they were almost 20,000 rands worth of vibrators.
Yes.
It's a lot of money. So not everybody is fortunate enough to get somebody to pass them a bag full of, it's 20,000 rands, you know.
Yeah.
And as a disabled person, I get a grant. I'm unemployed. I get a grant for 1,800 rands. I can't be spending 1,000 rands on a vibrator.
No.
You know. So I want to be able to supply affordable toys for disabled people, because women like me who get disabled and who get left are a lot. When I got disabled, I had a partner, I had a business, I had my own coffee shop, I was raising my kid, I had a house that I was sharing with my partner. I got disabled, I lost everything. I even lost custody of my kid. My kid is being raised by my friends right now.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been a very long journey and it's still ongoing, you know. But it was a very lonely experience as well. That's why I got online, so that I could talk to other disabled people from around the world to say, is what I'm experiencing what I should be experiencing, and how do I get past the ableism that I'm living with, you know? And yeah, so that's who I am. I think I talked too much. Let me just take a break.
No, wow. So, Makgosi, thanks for sharing that, because that is real vulnerability there. You know, to be able to share such detailed experiences that not many people actually get such insight, such deep insight into the life of a disabled person. And we really need to hear about these struggles, because as able people, we have no idea what the disabled community actually go through. So thank you for being so brave and for sharing that with us. And we, you know, in doing these podcasts, my aim is to actually educate the general public continuously. So that whole change in your life, besides being absolutely shocking for yourself and for your family, meant there were so many changes and so many things that you needed to adapt to.
I felt like the floor fell from underneath my feet, you know, and I've been spending the past 6 years trying to get on my feet again, you know, for lack of a better speech. But yeah, it's been quite an interesting journey, very traumatic. And I learned a lot as well about myself and about others. So I'm hoping that others don't experience the same trauma as me, or they know that even if you do experience something as traumatic as a chronic illness and disability, life comes together eventually. It might not make sense in the first couple of years. My life did not make sense from 2016 until 2019. I was not sure what was going on. I didn't know what was happening with me. So I was living with my parents when I got disabled. And I said, okay, so I think I need to leave the city and go find myself again. And that's what I did. So I'm still on the journey. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were saying?
Oh, I really would like to hear about your experience. In fact, I'd like to hear about the things that you've learned about yourself.
I've learned that I'm too hard on myself. You know, I know a lot of it had to do with being the firstborn child, I think, and the only girl at home. You know, with all these expectations from everybody, you're the girl child and you're firstborn. You know, everybody that comes after you is your responsibility, and you know, you're the deputy parent, as they call it. And now I'm trying to learn how to take care of myself.
Yes.
You know, before I can help somebody else, I need to help myself first, you know, because the world is inaccessible, you know, and as we've seen, everybody has pretty much gone back to work. The world is back to normal. If you're vaccinated, we're outside, we're having dinners and lunches, business meetings, but nobody's looking around to really look where the disabled people are. And when you look at the numbers, we're about 25% of the population. So you can't say that there are no disabled people. There are a lot of disabled people, but nobody's asking where the disabled people are. I've learned to be more trusting of myself. Losing my mobility it felt like my body betrayed me, because the one thing that I depended on gave in, and it gave in without notice that it was giving in. So I'm having to learn to trust my body again. I've started taking dance lessons. I never used to want to dance. Before my disability, I was not interested in dancing, but now I want to learn how to dance. I want to learn how to swim. I want to learn how to drive,
Amazing.
So my disability has taught me to want things and to want good things for myself. I think that's the one shocking revelation I've had, that so many good things have happened even with the disability. I know people struggle to associate the two, that you can be disabled and you say good things are happening in your life, because when people think about disability, they think the end of the world, I could never survive. But so many good things are happening to me, and I believe it's because now I believe I'm worthy of them. So I've had to learn that it's okay for me to want things to be better for myself, and it's okay for me to accept good things that happen to me. I don't have to be doubtful that, do I deserve this, or am I worthy of it, or should I be having this, which is something that I used to struggle with, and I'm growing. I say I'm going through emotional stretches. I'm writing about the experience as well. I already have a book cover. I'm like 15,000 words into the manuscript, into the draft. So I'm hoping that at the end of the book, I would have learned more about myself.
Oh, wow.
So,
I look really forward to reading that.
I hope people receive it well, because I talk about chronic illness. When we talk about disability, people think, because I'm talking as a wheelchair user, people will think, okay, yeah, that's extreme. But when living with COVID, people are recovering from long COVID. Those people are chronically ill. They are technically disabled.
Yes.
So our community just got bigger.
Yes.
So those are the people I also want to bring into the conversation and say it gets better. There was a time when I didn't want to wake up in the morning. I literally would go to bed and just pray that my eyes don't open in the morning. I remember that time. It was a very dark space. And right now, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. I got an apartment that gets a lot of sunlight. It's when the sun rises, I'm the first one to see it, and it makes me so happy.
Wow.
And this is a place where I never thought would be possible. Had you asked me that, would this be possible 4 years ago, I would have told you, no bloody ways, me happy. But I wake up every morning and I see the sunrise at 4:30. Sunrise, it's starting earlier in Cape Town now. It's just, and I feel so blessed, So
You are such an inspiration. I get to tell you what an inspiration you are. And
oh man, life has been kind. Life has been kind. I don't even know how to explain that.
that is really amazing. And I really cannot wait to get listeners to grasp this concept of how to really live every day for today, and to be appreciative and grateful for every single day. To hear your words being expressed so beautifully. This gives me so much joy, and I can't wait to share this message with everybody. So thank you.
I would love to hear what everybody thinks of my thoughts. I talk a lot, so.
No, wow, I'm loving this message. It's really, really so uplifting. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
So tell me about intimacy and disability. Do you go on dates? Tell us about that.
Sure. So I I started dating again in 2020 November. So after I started getting control of my incontinence, I'm like, okay, so this actually works. My friends pressured me to get onto Tinder. They're like, you can't keep hiding forever. I'd been single for 4 years, and my friends were like, no, you need to meet people. It's been too long, and what's the worst that could happen? And I've been having beautiful, beautiful experiences. I think it's because I'm nicer to myself that I'm meeting people who are nicer to me.
Yes.
So I'm having so many beautiful experiences. I mean, my wheelchair is pink because I told one of my dates that I was thinking of spraying my wheelchair pink, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And I went and I bought the paints. I bought it. So I'm like, so I bought the paints, but I wait for my brother to come back and he can spray paints for me. And then he said, "Oh, okay." We went to bed. I wake up in the morning. This man sends me a message. I'm downstairs. I'm here to paint your chair.
Amazing.
And that's how my chair got painted. So I'm meeting people who wants me to be happy. This is the same person that said to me, he recognized how angry I was at a lot of what I've experienced and how unhappy I was. And he said to me, I want to be with you, but I want to be with you when you've let go of the anger that you have. So we just started talking about how, I need to let go of the sense of betrayal that I felt, not only with my body, but with like my relationship failing and me questioning myself as to could I have done something better, or could I have done anything to prevent my disability? Because there was a time in my life when I blamed myself for my disability. Had I done this, had I done that? I've stopped blaming myself. I had to forgive myself that it's happened. There's nothing I can do about it. Let's just move on with life, and adapt to life. It took me accepting that I can't change where I am for me to be able to be happy and to make peace with the situation. So I got on Tinder and I'm dating. I'm having a lot of delicious sex. I'm experiencing intimacy in ways that I didn't experience before disability. That's the other thing. That the amount of intimacy that I'm experiencing now, I was in relationships with people for 3-4 years. And when I compare the experiences that I have now with the experiences that I had with them then, I'm like, I was being short-charged, and I was short-charging myself because I didn't think I deserved anything better.
Wow.
So I'm having bodily intimacy, and the skin is the biggest sex organ that you have, and I'm discovering that all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yes.
So what I loved about what you said is that you've realized that you deserve more, just deserve better. And so you like yourself more, or, it's like a catch-22 situation.
Yes.
And so that's one of the reasons why you're having better sexual experiences, because you're loving yourself more, right? And you respect yourself more.
Yes.
What else about the intimacy, the sexual intimacy, is different this time round?
I
mentioned touch.
I center myself more in my pleasure. Before my disability, I used to worry about what my partner was experiencing, if they were happy with me. But now I check myself in and say, am I enjoying this? Is this a good experience for me? And am I comfortable? So when I check in with myself first before I check in with the next person.
Amazing.
So that's what I've learned. I've learned to ask myself first, am I happy with this? Am I happy with the experience that I'm having? So even if I do have casual dates, I always check in with the people. Am I having a comfortable experience? And am I happy to be here? And do I feel like this person deserves my time? and taking myself more seriously. I had to be disabled for me to start taking myself more seriously. Like, wait, why am I allowing somebody to treat me this way? And why should it continue? So immediately when I start feeling disrespected, I tend to back out of spaces, because I'm like, okay, no, I can treat myself better and I can make myself orgasm better at home. I'm not going to be outside being disrespected by somebody else when I could just go home and look at the sunset, So not centering other people's feelings has been a big thing. Like, okay, you can be mean to me, it's fine. I'll go home, I'll cry about it, but I get to see the ship from my balcony. So, my life I might have a bad day, but I'm not having a bad life.
Amazing.
I might have I have a bad date, I might have a bad experience, but I'm not having bad dating experiences now. I'll have a bad date, but the experiences that I'm having now, absolutely beautiful.
And the people that you are dating, are they also disabled, or they able-bodied? What's average?
They're all able-bodied. But there was a selfish motive to that, because when I use toys, I can feel what I want to feel, but there are things that I can't feel on my own, So some experiences are also better with other people, even with the toys that I use. When you share the experience with a partner, it's always better. So I love the toys, but human contact and human intimacy is still one of the most precious things one could ever experience. And because I went so long without being touched, I suffered from touch drop, because nobody wanted to touch me at some point in my life. Yes. I've gone out of my way to actually meet people who are able to fully accommodate my needs, and a lot of them are able-bodied people, so I don't want to frustrate another disabled person by having expectations for them, knowing the challenges that we both live with, And also I wanted to see what people think about dating disabled women. When you look at dating shows, or when you go on when you have conversations about weddings, I mean, if you go on weddings, so you click a hashtag anyway on any media site, chances of you finding a couple of a disabled woman and an able-bodied person are very, very slim, if any. So I also want to know what it's like to be with an able-bodied person. I'm taking dancing lessons. I'm hoping that I'll meet somebody who can dance with me, whether they're able-bodied or not. And luckily, our dance lessons, they are very diverse. So it's wheelchair to wheelchair, able-bodied to disabled. It's a mix and match. It's beautiful. So I get more experiences of interacting with other people that way, but it's mostly able-bodied people.
It's amazing.
It's very interesting. It's a very interesting experience, and I never know what to make of it. So I just enjoy it, because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I just know that I'm here today, and I might still have a good time while I'm here. I almost died in 2016. I don't want to not mention that. In 2020, actually, when COVID struck, a friend of mine asked me, am I not panicked about the lockdown? I said, when you look at my life as a disabled person in this country, I'm already living under lockdown, so the country is inaccessible. So everybody else just joined us as the disabled in 2020. They faced a limited disability by not being able to go outside and do what they want. People were protesting, wanting to go run and whatever. I'm like, you guys, I can't go anywhere because the roads are not accessible, the taxis are not accessible, the buses are not accessible. So you guys are just joining in on what we've already been experiencing. How about you change how things are done? And this is how we all came online. But now the world is going back to normal and they're forgetting us again. So I'm hoping to remind everybody, we still need the change. Don't stop doing what you were doing during lockdown. keep the culture going. Keep the culture going, because COVID is here to stay. People are not vaccinating. So we're going to be in this soup for a while. So let's work with what we have.
I was actually saying that when people were hoping to go back to normal, I was saying, well, why do you want to go back to normal? Normal was horrible.
It was horrible.
Normal was disconnection. It was a rat race. It was comparing to your neighbor. It was constant. It was terrible. Now that
constant rush.
Horrible. Now that COVID came, we could connect better with our families, with our friends via this kind of medium. We had time to talk on the phone. We had time to spend more time with our children and with our partners and things like that. Why would you want to go back to so crazy?
Exactly. Let's fix this formula. Let's see how we can improve this. But let's not go back to pre-COVID levels. Let's not do that. It doesn't benefit any of us.
And yet, anyway, what's going on in the traffic? Everyone's back to
normal. With the price of petrol.
It's ridiculous.
No. So COVID, like I said, COVID has been a very bittersweet experience. I'm having conversations like this because of COVID, but I had a lot of losses because of COVID. So trying to just live through that and remember that, yes, with all the grief that the country as a whole faced, there was also a lot of things that we overcame, So let's just keep going. When I got disabled, I thought my world was over. I was losing everything. I lost my friends, I lost my lovers, I lost my home, I lost my business. I said I lost my kid. So the carpet was pulled from under me by this disability. And I did think, there was a time when I thought, maybe I shouldn't be alive. And I'm looking back now, I'm like, wow, so I actually made it this far, and look at where I am now. So it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. It takes time. And like I discovered, not every journey is going to be conventional. Yes. And not everything that we do to help ourselves heal in whichever way is going to be understood by everybody, as harmless as it is. And you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that's what it is.
For sure. So Makgosi, yes. You mentioned earlier when we were chatting that so there's two things. Firstly, you said that you're a sex worker, which I found was very interesting. And secondly, you were saying that you want to talk more about, you want to get the word out more about sex and sexuality and disabilities, and you want to bring more awareness to the table about this.
Yes.
So, which one would you like to deal with first?
Well, I'm a sex worker. I define myself as a sex worker because I review sex toys for disabled people, and some of the companies that I work with pay me a commission of some sort, or they reward me with toys, Right. So that's how I got to call myself a sex worker. I'm making money. Well, I was making money from this. It's not happening anymore. The economy is tough. But also because I want to go into the bigger industry as a whole. This country needs to be able to be comfortable with people saying that they're sex workers, and be accepting of that we are all trying to earn a living one way or the other. Welders use our hands, runners use their legs, some of us use our bodies. We're all trying to survive a system, and we're trying to make money. So I'm also trying to get the stigma away from that word, because when you say to somebody you're a sex worker, they get very offended. What do you mean? No, and it's not dirty. I mean, we love sex. We talk about sex, and so what makes it so offensive to you that you're thinking you're a sex worker? So even my kid knows that. I've got a teenager And when I started calling myself myself a sex worker, I wrote an article in the City Press. My kid was on some, what is this? I said, no, this is what I'm doing, because my kid was 10 when I got disabled. So she's been with me throughout this journey. So when I started using toys, I said, no, so this is what mommy does, and this is how it's helped me. And she's like, oh, okay, and then she was over it, and if my teenager can accept it, I don't see why anybody else would have a problem with it, because that's the one person that I care about the most, what she thinks about anything that I do.
Absolutely.
So bringing awareness to sexuality about disabled people, and particularly disabled women, is that when people look at disabled people, they don't consider us sexy.
Yes.
The same way when parents have disabled kids, they never think that their kids are going to grow up one day and be curious about sex. Because for some odd reason, people think that when you have a disability, then you stop being a sexual being, which is weird because I'm a human being. I'm the same as you. The only difference is that I need assistance to get around. It doesn't change how I feel. It doesn't change how, I am as a person. When you cut me, I bleed just like you do. So people are very uncomfortable at the thought of a disabled woman having sex. Even when you talk to parents of disabled kids, like, have you considered that this 14-year-old is curious about that body? They shut it down because how dare you even bring something like that to mind. But the thing is, by choosing not to talk about sexuality for disabled people, we're also opening up space for them to be abused, because if disabled people don't know that they can have pleasurable safe sex, consented safe sex, they get exploited a lot. And I'm not saying this as a make-believe story. This is something that we all know is a reality, that a lot of the disabled people that will tell you about, or you'll hear about disabled people being exposed to sex, it's often through a violent way, and it's often non-consensual. So I'm trying to get the message out that disabled people need to know that there's consensual sex and you can say no. And you need to recognize the two, that it's your body. The world might not feel like it is, and they might victimize you for it, but it's your body and you're entitled to safe pleasure. So I'm trying to get the country talking about that we're here. I mean, I got disabled, I was 32. I was in my prime. I'm 37 now. I'm turning 38 this year. But I'm looking forward to the 40s. I'm so excited. But so I was in my prime, and I don't see why I shouldn't have all these experiences as a woman in her 30s, So yeah, it's constantly learning how to be. And I also, by exploring my body, I'm figuring out designs for my future toy manufacturing business, because it's research. We can use toys, but we can't use all the toys. So I'm trying to find things that I know will work for people like me.
Love that attitude. Yes. And what a great ambassador you are for younger people, or people who've been born into disability, or people who have, like yourself, later on in life or down the line in life, become disabled. And everything about you, your attitude towards your disability, your attitude towards your journey has been just so enlightening and so positive. And I know that, we're not here for a therapy session, but wow, I can't even imagine. I'd love to explore it more with you, but to imagine how tough life actually was when, the ground almost did collapse underneath you.
Yes. That's another conversation for another day. We need another 2 hours.
Absolutely. But in terms of being another ambassador for pleasure, seeking pleasure, being able to achieve pleasure as a disabled person, and exploring your own body, and first, realizing that you have that ability to experience pleasure. is just amazing. And also, as you was talking, I was also thinking about the fact that, with gender-based violence in this country, women are, we are just targets for being violated.
Yes. It's a difficult conversation. It's a difficult conversation to have.
Yeah.
But even it's one that we need to have.
It's even worse. As a disabled person, you're just at so much more risk of experiencing that violence and that violation. Because
absolutely. I mean, every time I go out and I meet up with somebody, I'm aware that they could take advantage of me not being able to physically defend myself. So it's also navigating that space and saying, yes, I'm aware of the dangers, but I also can't be alone all the time. It's not healthy as well. So it's being constantly aware of myself, of others, and just hoping that everybody comes with good intentions. And so far, I've had good experiences. I think it's because I've had to learn human behavior. The one thing about disability, it's taught me how to sit and watch people.
Yes.
So I get to pick up a lot of what people say when they're not saying it.
Yes.
So that's how I pick my dates. I'm like, okay, so if this person says this will be that. And I'm yet to be failed by my instincts since. I'm yet to be let down by my instincts. Every time I've said, let me give it a try, I'm not sure about it, somebody has gone on to show me why my gut was saying, no, not that. So my legs stopped working, and it's like my other 5 senses just kicked into higher gear. So everything is just more intense, where it's making up for the legs not being in action, and reducing the chances of me having to choose between fighting or fleeting, flying. Sorry, English. But it's.
Would you like to show some of the toys that you have there? What they use?
I would absolutely love to. Okay, so this is a vibrating shell. It looks like a seashell.
Yes.
There we go. Right.
Yes.
So it's got 10 settings. It's the clitoral stimulator. So it's rechargeable.
Okay.
Thank goodness for technology. This is one of my toys. This was it's the other version of what I started with. It broke, unfortunately, the one that I started with. So this is the sister
so
to
often, it can break.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to learn how to fix vibrators because I have all these vibrators in my house, and some of them are old and some of them are broken. Like, I can't throw these away. They're all my babies. And then, okay, so these are nipple clamps. I use these for just like sensitizing my nipples and trying to feel what I can enjoy. And then this I recently got. It's a very famous rose. I recently got this.
Oh, yes.
It's a 2-in-1 vibrator. It's one of the first toys that I've seen that has a dildo size this small, which I think a lot of people are wanting. So this is one of my other favorite toys. And it's good with a partner too. All of these you can share with a partner. And then...
So can we just go back to that one again?
This one.
So the dildo size is for the vagina, and could it also double up for the anus?
Yes, it could. Yes.
Okay. And then the rose?
The rose is for the clitoris. It's got it's got an opening there, so you put it on the clitoris. Right. Once it's got lube, it's amazing.
And is that for single partner use?
It's for both. I've used it.
Can you both use it at the same time? I'm just trying to imagine this.
I haven't tried that, but I think we should be able to. Now I have something else to try. I've had a partner use it on me, but I haven't had a partner try and use it with me. I
Okay.
will. I'll find out, and I'll drop you a DM on Instagram.
I don't know how that could physically. I mean, anyway.
You'd be surprised. Oh, no. You'd be surprised at what you discover about your body when you're disabled, and
Sure.
how much people are willing to bend over.
Amazing. I love that.
And then last but not least, this is my massager.
Yes.
So this I use just like as a clitoral stimulator. And I use it also for like my body aches and pains.
Yes.
When sometimes my body's got cramps or whatever, I can just use my massager and it works. That's what it was originally intended for, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
We just realized that you can vibrate everywhere. So, so this is my massager. And then, yeah, these are my 4 firm favorites that I constantly use. Personally, I've got about 14 different toys.
I love that. On your site, there are lots of other little things that I can't really explain, but some of them look like the uterus and I'm actually having a look now.
I'm thinking I'm gonna go get, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go get my Kegel balls. So
yeah, no, I want to be able to see this.
Okay. I think you're talking about this.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but are you talking about these?
Okay, well, no, but let's have a look at those.
Oh, okay. These Kegel balls.
Oh, these Kegel balls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just for those who don't know what Kegel balls are, why don't you explain it?
Okay, so they used to be called Benoit balls. So they are insertable and little roundel balls that are attached to a very strong rubber magnet. So you don't worry about it breaking and staying inside of you. I literally could stretch it, it doesn't break. So I use them to try and assess how much my pelvic floor can actually like grip, because in order to be able to feel your urine coming through, you have to feel it, on your walls and down. So I use this. I would sit on this for like an hour a day sometimes, just trying to see how everything works. And these helped me a lot because I was able I'm able to feel now, so it was teamwork. Me and my toys were helping each other to help me get better.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah. So learning how to because to use these as a disabled person, I had to sit on them and be comfortable in my chair. So it's things like this that I'm testing that, okay, so if a disabled person is using this, how does it feel when they move around? Can they do like housework without being interrupted? So when you're using toys, you should be able to do other things as a disabled person. I mean, so you can multitask, you can be doing the dishes and that your vibrator is hard at work, helping you get better. And I just want to say that it doesn't always end with an orgasm. Sometimes I'll just use the vibrator just so I can feel the sensation of what it feels like. So people shouldn't use the vibrators whether or not you're helping yourself with incontinence problems, but don't always use them with an expectation of an orgasm. Just use them for pleasure sometimes because they feel good.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And I think that is a message that we should be telling everybody, that even sexual intimacy should be not always, the goal shouldn't always be to experience an orgasm.
Yes.
But rather to experience the pleasure.
The pleasure and the intimacy
of the moment, being intimate, the touch, the being close to somebody, experiencing eros on just another level, instead of having to always have that goal. I always imagine soccer goals, and that ball hits the soccer goals. I don't know where that imagery comes from, but yeah.
And the pressure from that,
Yeah.
the pressure that people put themselves under, that, if I don't come, then there's something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with my body. There might be, but that's not always the case.
Of course.
So yeah, people must be nice to themselves.
Yeah, we've got to actually destroy that stigma, that that myth that in order to have good sex, we have to experience orgasm. Exactly.
Yes.
I'm just having a look at some other toys here. You have a donut. Or is that just yummy for eating? Oh, you say you're stress eating. I love that. Please, guys, go on to Wheels and Toys. There's some very interesting looking toys here for pleasure and for rehabilitation.
Yes.
And there was one.
I'm getting more stock as well. So I'm trying to expand my business because I'm currently unemployed. So if you see a toy that you are interested in, but you're not sure if I carry it, let me know, and then I'll go and find the toy for you. And also I'm learning how to be a businesswoman. So all the challenges I appreciate this.
What's
okay? So you're on Wheels and Toys.
The Hot Storm. I don't know if anybody can. Yeah, the Hot Storm. I'm showing this on.
So, oh yes. Okay, so that is a mini vibrator, and those 3 circles, those are cock rings, and the last one with the little curls on the edge is an anal stimulator. So that is a couple's toy. That vibrator is about 10 centimeters short. So it's a mini vibrator. So it's something that you can use. It's a starter. It's a perfect starter pack for a couple when you're not sure what you want to explore. Then that's something that you can start with, because it's not something expensive. So if you change your mind or you have buyer's remorse, it's not a huge amount, Okay. But I always encourage people to start cheap and work your way up, because you never know what you like and what you don't like, and you don't want to buy your toy and not like it. It will ruin your interest forever, because that's how you'll remember it. So I want people to have happy experiences with their first toy patches. That's why before I sell a toy to somebody, I'll say to them, message me, let's talk about what you would like, and let's see what kind of a toy I can get for you, so that when you get it, you're happy with it. I want you to also come back as a customer and say, actually, you're right about the kind of toy that you recommended, and I'm back for more business. So that's what I do as Wheels and Toys as well.
And in terms of men, yes. I mean, you've got experience as a woman, a disabled woman. Yes. How have you done research about what men can or can't do, or ways of stimulating men in wheelchairs, paraplegics, and so on?
I haven't had the luck of talking to men. I don't know if it's because men don't use sex toys, or they are just not comfortable talking to me about, that sexual pleasure. But I've been trying to start the conversation with men to say, okay, so these are the toys on the market. Who's used them? Who's curious? So I'm trying to start that conversation along with, because also the sooner men warm up to toys, the more they'll be willing to buy them for their partners or to use them with their partners. So that's why I'm starting the conversation with men now to say, okay, so what's the way forward and what are your interests? So that's what I'm going to commit this year to finding out what disabled men need, and how we can get them toys that are accessible to them and affordability.
Because I'm thinking about erectile dysfunction, especially when there's been, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just thinking off the top of my head where there's been maybe partial nerve damage, and so a man could maybe experience
limited sensation of some sort.
Some kind of sensation.
Yes,
is there a kind of toy that could maybe exactly what it did for you, create more nerve sensation?
Sensation.
So I would love to find out if there's something like that,
That's what I'm going to be focusing on. When I review toys, I usually ask for toys for myself. But now I'm going to ask for toys for men, so I can find out what works for men. But also toys for men are very limited in that range.
Yes.
With us, designs can be anything and it works. So finding toys for phallic things is just, that range is very boring.
But also, the men gets aroused and pleasure from anal toys as well. And I'm sure.
But men are very conservative as well. I don't know, but I think men are very conservative and they view toys as competitors. So what I'm trying to make people realize is that a toy is not a competition with you. It's actually your companion. I need to plug in my laptop. Sorry, my battery's going flat.
Okay.
So yeah, trying to get men to be more open to the idea of toys and not see it as a competitor. So when somebody says, "Oh, I'm bringing my vibrator," it shouldn't, kill your erection. It should excite you more that somebody, wants to explore something with you and they want to share an experience with you, because sharing a toy with somebody is very intimate. And it opens you up to a completely different conversation. So yeah, this year I'll get positive feedback, and in 5 years' time, when I finally have my manufacturing plant, I'll have a men's toy line as well.
That'll be amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more conversation, and let me know about your research. I'd be interested to find that out.
I definitely will.
No, and Makgosi, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. And thank you for opening up so much and for sharing so much of your personal experiences. And as I said before, you're an incredible inspiration for so many abled people and disabled people. I mean, there's so many able people walking around who really do need to hear your positive outlook on life and sex and sexuality. And you can definitely send such a powerful message to the disabled community that just because you're disabled doesn't mean that you cannot experience intimacy on such a different level. And just because you're disabled doesn't mean that your life has ended. And
exactly,
so I so appreciate your time coming onto the show and sharing with me all your beautiful experiences. And thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. You can invite me again because I like talking.
I know, and I love it. I love listening. So thank you for sharing today. It's been really amazing. Thank you, Makgosi.
Thank you for having me.
And I wish you so much success, in finding a job.
Thank you.
Your factory up and going, and just spreading the word more and more about disabilities and intimacy. And if I can be a vehicle of in any way whatsoever, I'm on board.
People must just follow me on Instagram, Meals and Toys. On my bio, my Shopify is on there. So if you're interested in any of the toys, just support me. I just need people to support me. I think once I'm able to sustain myself, then I'll be able to soar to bigger heights. So I can't concentrate on having a successful business while I'm struggling to maintain myself. So once the business picks up from support, then the sky is the limit. And also, I just want to say to whoever gets to watch this, invite me to your seminars. I don't always talk about sex. I talk about life experiences. I mean, I was 32. I had my own coffee shop. I had a staff of 4 people. I had my own home. So my life was skinner, and it all fell apart. So I'm trying to rebuild again. So let's talk about even that heartbreaking conversation, invite me out and let's try and see how 2023 and 2024 treats us. But it gets better. I just want people to remember it gets better. It might not be immediate, you might not feel like it, but it gets better.
100%.
Yes.
So you can just spread your words of positivity and we'll help as much as possible. So thank you very much again. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I had such a blast.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right.